Welcome to the KingsCast, the live show where we cover the latest Bethesda news. You can find us every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Central right here at the King's Corner. The King's Corner. It's the place for all things Bethesda. If you love Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, and Starfield, and you haven't subscribed yet to the KingFanMan channel, hit that subscribe button for the latest in Bethesda news, tips, lore, live stream, podcast, and so much more. Now, here's your host. He's not a fanboy. He is the KingFanMan.
Welcome back to the King's Corner, the place for all things Bethesda. I am the KingFanMan, and this is the KingCast. Thank you for spending a little bit of your Saturday right here in the King's Corner. Of course, this is the longest-running podcast that is covering all things Bethesda. And as always, we have a great show again today. I want to start out by thanking all of my channel members. Thank you. I love seeing the crowns in the chat. Thank you, channel members and Patreons. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for all the support that you give me. But thanks everybody just for being here. Thank you for watching. That helps me as well. Today's show, we're going to talk Elder Scrolls 6. We got some new news from Jez Gordon today. Well, not today. It was from his latest podcast. He was talking about the Elder Scrolls 6, when we might see it, and also the Fallout 3 remastered as well. So we'll get Jez's ideas and talk about those. We've got some huge Fallout 76 news. Not only did we get the new roadmap for this summer, but we're also about to get a developer AMA this coming week, and then John Rush said he's going to be at the Xbox Showcase. So a lot going on with Fallout 76. Fallout 4 is getting their creation upgrade. Finally, we'll talk about that. And finally, we'll round off the show with, can the Elder Scrolls compete with some of the other games out there like Crimson Desert and some of those? I would love to get y'all's opinion. And of course, y'all are going to hear mine as well. That's not all we're going to talk about either, because we always talk about what you guys are talking about in the chat. So if you have questions, you have comments, let me know in the chat. I'll be watching it close. And, of course, always remember those super chats. Those help me immensely. So let's jump into the show. Again, thank you for spending a little bit of your Saturday right here. I don't know about y'all, but it's rainy here in Arkansas, so it's a good day to be in and talk video games. Good day. Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Thomas. Hey, Surfer. Hey, Boss. Hey, Peculiar. Y'all notice I shrink your names down a little bit. Dow and Musta. Can I call you Musta instead of Mustafar? Yeah, that name. Can I call you Musta? Is that okay? Thank y'all for being in the chat. And we have a lot more people just watching out there, so thank y'all again. Let's start with Fallout 76. And again, we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk Elder Scrolls a lot today, so y'all stay with us. If the first thing isn't what you want to talk about, I promise we'll get there. Fallout 76, of course, right now, the Big Bloom event's going on until June the 2nd. So that's still another all next week, and then Tuesday of the following week is when it goes out. Also, Season 24 ends on June the 2nd. So make sure you've got everything you want out of the season, because the new season and the new update is coming June the 2nd. Infestations, Season 25, the new seasonal fish. There's a lot coming in with this new update on June the 2nd. And of course, we just learned that all this week as well. And then next Tuesday, y'all mark this down. This is really important. Next Tuesday, May the 26th, that is when we're going to get to hear from John Rush and several of the other developers. They do the AMA, and I live streamed it last time. Y'all really loved that, so I will be live streaming it again this Tuesday, May the 26th. If you want to watch it without me, you can watch it on their Discord channel. But I will be live streaming it, so make sure you're subscribed. And then, as I said, John Rush also talked about the Summer Game Fest coming up June the 7th, where he's going to talk more about infestations and all that. But this is what I love about the AMA and what I love about the Game Fest coming up. We should at least get some hints about what's coming this fall and winter. So after this update, there'll be 2 more main updates this year. You got the September update and then the December update. And normally those two are the biggest updates of the year for Fallout 76. Last year getting Burning Springs in December. So what could we get for September and December? Well, I know we've got a next-gen upgrade coming. They've been promising that forever. I still believe there's going to be a brand new raid added to Fallout 76. I believe we're going to get that. I would guess the September update, we're going to get the raid. And then probably in December, we're either going to get an extension to the Rust King story and more in Burning Springs, more on the Interloper. Remember, that was teased in the fishing update. Or they're going to shock us with something new. But I do think we're getting the raid and the next-gen upgrade. But as far as that December upgrade or update, I don't know what it's going to be. Lucian, what's going on? Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All hail the king, but I do not think the Elder Scrolls 6 will be shadow dropped under any circumstance. I don't either. But I'm going to predict Fallout 3 Remastered for Fallout Day. Lock it in, baby. Hey, I like that. I like it. No, I don't think... Joe thinks it might be shadow drop. Well, I don't think he thinks it. I think he thinks it would be really neat if they shadow dropped it. But I don't think there's any way that they would shadow drop the Elder Scrolls 6. No, absolutely not. That's about all about Fallout 76. I can't wait until next Tuesday to learn more about what's coming. So y'all please, let's tune in for that. Okay, let's jump right to what Jez Gordon said this week on the Elder Scrolls 6 and the Fallout 3 remasters, because I'm sure all of our minds are on it anyway. I've got Elder 6 on the brain. Yes, I do too. So this is what Jez Gordon said. Now, I'm going to directly quote him here, okay? Y'all are not going to like what he had to say, by the way. He said... Now, I don't know how true this is. That's how he prefaced it. But he said the Fallout remasters are probably a little farther off than most people are thinking. And then he finally said 2027 for the Fallout remasters. Or at least one of them, he said. And then he said, and the Elder Scrolls 6 is still quite a far way away. Either the year after that, which would be 2028, or the year after that, which is 2029. Now, I love Jez. He does great stuff, and he is much more of an insider than I am, okay? So, y'all listen to what I say with a grain of salt. Even listen to what he says with a grain of salt. But I'm going to lay it out why I believe what he's saying about the Elder Scrolls is not true. Now, as far as Fallout 3 Remastered, I believe he's right on target. A lot of people are thinking that maybe Fallout 3 is coming this summer because of that McFarlane toy leak. Of course, as we know, it is dated in August. But I've been saying all along that Bethesda would be dumb if they did not hold Fallout 3. Even if it was done, they need to hold it until season 3 of the TV show. I just think that would be, I'm not in marketing, but if I was in marketing, that's what I would recommend, is releasing it around the season 3 of the TV show. So that's what I think they're going to do with the Fallout 3 Remastered. It just makes perfect sense. You look at season 3, what they've already teased. The Enclave is going to be a much major part of Season 3 in the Fallout TV show. So you will probably have Washington, D.C. flashbacks. You know how they do the flashbacks in the TV show? So what better time to put out Fallout 3 when Washington, D.C. than it would be in Season 3 of the TV show? That just makes perfect sense. But now let's talk about what he said about the Elder Scrolls 6. He said the Elder Scrolls 6 is still quite a far way away. And he thinks either 2028 or 2029. And let me just lay out why I don't think that's even possible. And I'm going to give y'all, I don't do many of these, but I'm going to give y'all a KingFanMan guarantee. And y'all can take that guarantee and $8 and buy you a cup of coffee. It used to be 50 cents, you know. Okay, Starfield. Let's go back to the creation of Starfield. How long did it take them to make Starfield once they were on full development of Starfield? We know, of course, that Fallout 76 came out in 2018. We also know that Maryland had obviously a lot of help from Bethesda in Austin, but guys, Maryland backed off of saying how involved they were with Fallout 76. Trust me, at least the last 2 years, Bethesda, Maryland was constantly on Fallout 76, okay? So Starfield didn't go into full production until 2018. So with that, it took 5 years to make Starfield, okay? Not counting the pre-production and all that, but just bear with me. Now, what do we know about Starfield's development? Hey, DeMarco dude, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. What do we know about Starfield's development? Number one, it had a very, very troubled engine upgrade. The Creation engine to the Creation 2 engine, Todd Howard has been on record saying it was a very tough upgrade. Very tough upgrade. In fact, in one interview, he actually said they had to go back, delete things, and start over. It was very, very tough. There were times during that engine upgrade, by the way, they were doing it all in-house. So the same developers that were working on the game was trying to upgrade the engine as well. They had to totally stop on the production of the game to do the engine upgrade. Okay, so it was a very troubled engine upgrade. We already know by Todd Howard's own words that the Creation 2 to Creation 3 upgrade was much, much smoother. In fact, he said with IGN and then Mortismal Gaming, both of those interviews, he talked about how they did not even have to slow down development on the Elder Scrolls 6 when they upgraded to the Creation 3 engine. Didn't even have to slow down. On Starfield, they had to go back and delete things, okay? Much, much different. Also, Starfield is a new IP. I don't think you realize how much more work goes into a new IP than an existing IP. In a new IP, you literally have to think up everything. Todd keeps talking about how much time they spent on figuring out what they ate and what toys the kids played with and designing all these things. So anytime you have a new IP, it's going to take longer. It's going to take more resources. And then finally, we seem to forget during the development of Starfield, there was a worldwide pandemic that literally closed down their studio. And on the FTC documents, what do we all say? There is a 2-year gap on the FTC documents. What caused that 2-year gap, I wonder? It was the worldwide pandemic that literally delayed things for 2 years. So even with all of that, it took 5 years, from 2018 to 2023, to get Starfield out, okay? So now let's look ahead to the Elder Scrolls. What do we know about the Elder Scrolls? Again, we know the engine went much easier. Much easier. They didn't even have to slow down development. Again, it's not a new IP, so all the lore is established. Todd Howard said in 2022 that they had known what the beginning of the game was for Elder Scrolls 6 for years. And in fact, in 2022, he said they already had like the first 3 hours done. That was still pre-development, okay? And then finally, of course, there was no worldwide pandemic. So how long would it take? Even if it took the same amount as it did with Starfield, which is crazy because of those three things that I just gave you. If it took the same amount of time that it took with a worldwide pandemic, a bad engine upgrade, and a new IP, it would only be what? 2028. I'm going to go out on a limb and give you a KingFanMan guarantee. I guarantee you it will not be later than 2028. There is no way. And with all that said, I truly believe it's coming in 2027. If you listen to Todd's own words, Todd tells you how long it takes them to develop a game. Todd told Lex Friedman, he said, the main development or the full development of the game takes a year or two, sometimes a little more, but a year or two. And then he says after that, it goes to the glue phase. It takes 6 months to a year. So even if you take the longest amount of time that he said on both of those, that's 2027 by Todd's own words. Now, do I see a possibility of them delaying it for polish, something like they did with Starfield? By the way, that 5-year Starfield thing was delayed again by Phil Spencer for polish, so they were done before then. Could I see them doing something like that to 2028? Yes. 2028, though, is the furthest away I could ever see the Elder Scrolls being. I still believe it's going to be here in 2027. Okay, let me get some of y'all's thoughts on this. But again, I'm not an insider. I'm just looking at the facts. Oh boy, I rambled on for a long time. Let's see. Lucian says he could be right. Virtuous contracts with other studios. We do not know what they're working on, but it makes financial sense to prioritize Fallout 3 Remastered. It's a money printer. Amen. But don't y'all agree that it just makes too much sense for it to come out with the TV show? I mean, even if they're done, even if it's ready right now, my advice to them would be wait on the TV show. Good grief. Wait. Do you think we will get the Elder Scrolls 6 in-game graphics teaser trailer in the upcoming Xbox showcase? Great question. I answered this last week, but I'll answer it again. If Todd gets his way, no, we will not get that teaser. Now, remember that teaser trailer, and I'm not talking about the one that they made in 2018. I'm talking about a real trailer, was already made and circulating through Bethesda last year. A lot of people thought it was going to be at the Xbox Summer Showcase last year. Maddie talked about it. Juice had talked about it. A lot of people did. So it's already done. But if Todd gets his way, no, they will not, because I still believe the game is releasing next year. I believe it's going to be the fall of 2027. Again, I wished I was a betting man, but I'm not. However, if Microsoft wants to spice up the summer showcase and to maybe get some people off of Bethesda's back, now I could see this. I could definitely see them showing a trailer 1 year before it comes out just to get that 2018 gone. That's the only thing that's going to get that 2018. It doesn't totally erase it, but you know what I mean. So, no, sadly, I don't think it's going to be there. But yes, there is a chance. There is a real chance we could get a teaser trailer at the summer showcase. Just don't hold your breath. Because, again, if Todd gets his preference, they won't. Bethesda should show off their Creation Engine 3. I would love to see some of the upgrades to Creation Engine 3. Can I add just a little bit more? If you go back to 2024, I believe, was the year of the Elder Scrolls anniversary. Y'all help me if I'm wrong. I'm doing this off the top of my head. But they had the big anniversary celebration. We also saw that the Skyrim grandma was getting a character in the Elder Scrolls 6. So they already had the character creation. There was so much done back then that we don't even realize, okay? It was right around that they said that they were playing early builds of the game. So the character creation's already done. We saw what the character creation was, and it looked really, really good. It looked better than Starfield. If you go back and if you want to see what it looks like, go back and watch the Elder Scrolls Anniversary video. It's on YouTube. And you'll see what the characters are probably going to look like. Now, they'll probably be enhanced a little bit more since the engine upgrade. But that was all going on back there just a year after full development. And then again, remember last year, this is a year ago, we found out that they were doing 3-hour playtest without outside people coming in the studio playing the game for 3 hours. You don't do that until the game is getting close, very close. I'm getting here late. No, Matt, you're right on time. Right on time. I think it would be so Bethesda if they put an Easter egg hint referencing something about Fallout 5. I bet you they will. You know they will. Fallout 3 shadow drop for sure this year. You know, I do see that as a real possibility, especially with that McFarlane thing. That's the only thing that's got me messed up. Again, I think they should shadow drop Fallout 3 Remastered right around the Season 3 of the TV show. But then why are you having a toy come out that says Fallout 3 Remastered? Maybe that August is just a holder date for that toy, and the toy is going to release around the TV show too. Then that would line up with what Jez was saying. Musta says 2027 for sure. Yay! I'm not alone. Fallout Season 3 will have a Fallout 5 reference or just Fallout reveal its location or narrative. 100%. DeMarco Dude says, I think we will see it this year. Xbox is trying to rebuild their name, and TES 6 would go a long way to help build that. It'll be above Todd. See, I could see that 100%. If Microsoft wants to make a splash, and they are, if you've noticed, Microsoft held a lot of really good news until Asha took the role of CEO. A lot of those things were done. Helix, a lot of things that we're crediting to Asha was already done when Phil was there. But they held on to all that news to give it to Asha to boost her rep, which is good. I think that's fantastic marketing. So absolutely, DeMarco, I could see that. That's why I'm going to say there's a 50-50 chance we see a trailer. And you may say, oh, well, that's silly. But I really do. I think it's 50-50 whether we see one this year or not. The trailer is done. I don't think the game's coming this year. It will be up to Microsoft. But yes, I could definitely see them doing that. My guess, the Elder Scrolls 6, fourth quarter 2027 or first quarter 2028 alongside Xbox Helix. Yeah, I'm still saying around November 2027. That's what Bethesda loves to do. Okay, Alexander says this might be wishful thinking, but maybe Microsoft is having Jez Gordon spread the 2028-2029 rumor to aid Bethesda's PR. So when the game comes out in 2027, everyone will be impressed and surprised. Hey, I will tell you this, Todd Howard does that 100%. And how do I know that? He did it with Fallout 4. Y'all have heard me talk about that the last few weeks. When Fallout 4 was totally leaked, I mean totally leaked, Pete Hines and Todd Howard both said, if you don't hear it from us, it's not true. Don't believe it. And of course it was real. Just a couple of months, the trailer came out for it. So, yeah. TES 6 Hopium. If Todd had his way, he would get rid of the entire marketing department. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Jessica will be the Skyrim grandma by the time the Elder Scrolls 6 releases. That's great. The Skyrim grandma thing may not have meant the character creation system was done, just that they were photogrammetry capturing her face to make later. If you go back and watch that, and I agree, I'm sure they didn't show everything, but if you go back and watch, it wasn't just the photogrammetry. I believe they actually showed in-game what it was going to look like. I'll have to go back and watch again, but I'm almost sure they showed that as well. But again, that was before the Creation 3 upgrade. But I also want to tell y'all again, a majority of the Creation 3 upgrade, some of it is definitely for what's in the game, and we'll talk about that today. But again, last week I told y'all a lot of that Creation 3 upgrade is for the creations, which they are tripling down on promoting now. Marcus says, I don't care how long I wait. I want the Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 when they are 100% complete. Masterpieces come to their creators in their own time. Masterpieces are not forced through production. Patience is golden. And I do agree. I just want them here before I die. Happy Cloud Gamer says, hey, I'm watching the Burrows Love the TV series. Asha has done a great job thus far. I agree 100%. Yeah, I agree with the trailer thing. Ed says, I think Nate and Nora Fever Dreams is a way to make Nate and Nora their own characters as recruitable companions. Could be wrong. That would be really cool. And we are about 3 years from Elder Scrolls 6. I would love to hear why. See, I hear everybody say that. Please tell me why and how it's possible. Why does it take Starfield less time during a worldwide pandemic, a troublesome engine upgrade, and it being a new IP? Why would it take more time for the Elder Scrolls 6 than it did for Starfield? A brand new thing. By the way, they had to do brand new systems. The not only the shipbuilding and all that, but think about ship flight and everything that Bethesda had never even come close to doing. They're at least going back to something they know very, very, very well. Now, obviously, there's probably going to be some new mechanic like ships or castles or something. Who knows what Todd's going to throw at us. But still, the core of the game is something that they know very, very well. I hear people say this, and I respect your opinion and I understand. But 5 years was the most that it had ever taken for a BGS game. And again, that was because of the worldwide pandemic and that terrible engine upgrade. There is no way it can take longer unless we learn something. Again, I would just love to hear why people are saying 2028, 2029, 2030. I know it feels like we've been waiting forever. I know it feels like Bethesda games are taking forever, but it's really not true. It took 5 years for Starfield during a worldwide pandemic. So do I believe that Bethesda's going to get back to a 4-year game cycle? Yes, 100%. Without the worldwide pandemic, I do believe it. They have, just so y'all know, they have quadrupled in size, Bethesda Game Studio. And I'm talking about Bethesda Game Studios, Maryland. Does anybody know how long it took them to make Skyrim? Anybody want to guess? We'll make this a trivia today. How long did it take Bethesda to make Skyrim? Anybody? Anybody? What most people would say is their best game. How long did it take them to make Skyrim? How big of a super chat for a 2-hour KingCast? That'd be a pretty big chat, a pretty big super chat, DeMarco. Come on, y'all, tell me, how long did it take them to make Skyrim? Anybody? 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. But yet now we've got it in our mind that these games, it's gonna be 2080 before it gets here. I'm telling y'all, you're not looking at facts. I would love to know. I mean, again, I respect your opinion. But if you think it's going to be 2028, 2029, tell me why. I just want to know why. I'm just trying to give y'all some comfort today, give y'all some hope. Yes, it's a little hopium, but that's all right. By the way, we'll come back to Elder Scrolls 6. We're going to talk a lot of Elder Scrolls 6 today. I want to talk about, can Elder Scrolls 6 compete with games like Crimson Desert that's out right now? I don't know how many of y'all are playing Crimson Desert, but it's a great game. And there's other really good games coming out that the Elder Scrolls is going to have to compete with. So we also found out this week that Fallout 4 is getting their mod upgrade, their creations upgrade. Xbox is getting up to 100 gigabyte. Now, if you got the Xbox S, you don't get that, but the new Xbox is going to be up to 100 gigabytes. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox S up to 2 gigabytes. Somebody mentioned that Fever Dreams. Yes, Fever Dreams, I believe, this is coming out May 27th, which is next Wednesday. But I believe Fever Dreams will probably be released during the Xbox Summer Showcase. Now, they may surprise us, and we may get it next week. But I'm going to tell y'all, the push for creations, I think I can tell y'all this. I was contacted by Bethesda this week, and they were asking me if I was interested in covering creations more with Starfield, with Fallout 4, and with Skyrim. And I said, funny thing, I've been thinking about doing that very thing. I've already done a live stream with one of the Starfield creations. And they are starting a marketing push, even amongst creators, for creations. I told y'all they're doubling down on these creations. And again, the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be the first game that is built. It's going to be totally different. How we get DLC, when we get DLC, and we're going to get a lot more creations with the Elder Scrolls 6 than we've ever gotten before. And I'm talking about creations that are Bethesda-backed, Bethesda-funded, even Bethesda-helped, that are almost like canon DLCs. So whether you like that or not, it's coming. It's coming. Okay, let's see. I got to catch up on the chat again. I got a lot to talk about today. So we will go an hour and a half, though, if y'all want to do that. We will. DeMarco, that'll save you a super chat, and I'll give you 30 minutes there. With these complex RPGs now, it takes longer. Developing, making sure the engine works, debugging issues, fixes, etc. I do agree with you, High Conductor, except it either takes longer or it takes more resources. Bethesda has quadrupled in size. Now, hopefully that quadrupling in size means they get more work done. If not, they need to go back down to 99 people, you know. But, yes, I mean, there's no doubt that the bigger the game, the longer it's going to take, or the more people it's going to take working on it. So, but again, do I think they're going to get this thing out in 3 years? I will tell you this, that every FTC document, the one before the pandemic and the one after the pandemic, both documents that came out, both had them having a 3-year gap in between Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6. So that's something to think about as well. Now, were they doing that to look good to Microsoft? I don't know. But again, even in 2020, I'm trying to think when that second FTC document came out. I think it was 2023. It was either 2022 or 2023. So it was well after the purchase of Bethesda. They still had it said 2026 or later. So they were still pushing for a 3-year window in between Starfield and the Elder Scrolls. So it's not unheard of for these games to get done in 3 years, just like Skyrim was. Now, again, my 2027 is giving them an extra year. That's giving them 4 years. That's giving them, again, just 1 year short of Starfield, which had the worldwide pandemic. I'm going to tell y'all this again just to get it in your head. The bad engine upgrade, it's a new IP, and it was delayed by Phil Spencer. Remember, if Bethesda had had their wishes, Starfield would have come out in 2022. It took 5 years because Phil Spencer said, let's wait, polish it a little bit more. And they didn't add anything to the game that last year. In fact, they cut things from Starfield. Starfield might have been a better game before then. I don't know. Just something to think about. Kenny says the Elder Scrolls will be semi-shadow dropped, i.e. mentioned at the show and dropped July the 4th to beat GTA 6. That would be nice. If I know y'all didn't ask, but what I believe is going to happen with the Elder Scrolls, if they don't show a trailer this year, and again, a cinematic trailer or a teaser trailer is very possible this year. But I think what they're going to do is wait until spring of next year. You know, Xbox normally has a spring showcase and a summer showcase. I think they will reveal the Elder Scrolls 6 next year at the spring showcase. I believe we'll get a deep dive, gameplay, all that during the summer showcase, and it will be released in the fall, winter of 2027. Now that, if I had to bet, that's what I would say is going to happen. We do know that AI is making coding and such faster, right? There you go. Absolutely. The AI tools is definitely going to make some things faster. And we are just at the beginning of the AI revolution. It's just begun. Elder Scrolls 6 will not be affected by AI near as much as Fallout 5 and future games will. Okay, I am not sure, but is there a chance they started pre-production back in the day when the teaser was released? In a way, yeah, I was about to say no. In a way, yes, because in 2022, Todd Howard said, this is what he said in 2022, which, by the way, the game was obviously in pre-production then. It didn't start full production until 2023. Todd Howard said they already had the beginning of the game done, which they had known what it was going to be for years. Todd normally has, as you've probably heard him talk about Fallout 5, he's had a page write-up on what Fallout 5 was going to be for years and years and years. He knows way in advance what they're going to do. That's how they put teasers in not just the previous games, but several games back. They can put teasers to what's coming in the future. So, were they to some point working on the Elder Scrolls 6 back in 2018? Yeah, sure. But again, I wouldn't even call it pre-production yet. Normally, pre-production. Now, this is we're going to have to get into this again, but this is how Bethesda Game Studios used to work. Okay. And I'm going to explain what I mean by this, but just in 2018, this is how Bethesda Game Studios worked. When they completed another game, so they were always be working on two games. One would be in pre-production, one would be in full production. So in 2018, when Fallout 76 wrapped up and Starfield went into full production, when the whole studio could jump in on Starfield, it's at that point that the Elder Scrolls 6 began pre-production. Now, that's always how they did it up until last summer. Last summer, and y'all have heard me say this, some of y'all have heard me say this anyway. Last summer, what happened? Last summer, everything changed. Microsoft was desperately wanting a new Fallout out. So they gave another Xbox studio a Fallout spinoff to work on. But now we hear that Todd Howard jumped in and said, no, we want to keep those in-house. And whatever he said to Microsoft convinced Microsoft to actually cancel that game, that Fallout spinoff, that a Xbox studio was already working on. And if you look at some of the other facts, again, I just look at evidence is all I do. Bethesda was hiring at the same time that all the layoffs were happening. And Todd Howard literally said he would rather staff up and start on Fallout now than have another studio do it. So that's why right now it's totally different than it's ever been. Fallout 5 is in, you don't call it pre-production. They're actually developing Fallout 5. Now, again, the majority of the studio, of course, is going to be on The Elder Scrolls 6, but there is a much bigger team on Fallout 5 now than there ever was in the past on a secondary game, okay? So, that was a lot. Okay, let's see, where was I at? Todd Howard, it's okay to miss things. I'm going to catch up on chat, and my chat just went crazy. Now I got to find it again. You can scan physical assets now. It's better. He's talking about AI. Okay. When I first saw the ants in Skyrim, Musta says, really, I didn't watch the Elder Scrolls anniversary video. You need to. It was really good. I love the hopium, but I think it will be 2028 or 2029. Okay, stop. That's two people that said it. I really want y'all to put in the chat right now. If you think it's going to be 2028 or 2029, tell me why. Tell me why it's going to take them longer. I don't want to say the same things over again, but why is it going to take longer for the Elder Scrolls than it did with Starfield, when Starfield had to go through a worldwide pandemic? It was a new IP, and they had a terrible engine upgrade. Why is it going to take longer? If it is 2029, do y'all want to do the math and see how many years you think it's going to take them to work on one game? Again, 5 years is the longest Bethesda's ever worked on a game. That was Starfield, because of the worldwide pandemic. So again, I understand the feeling, but just please tell me why you feel that way. Marcus says, what character class will be the main villain in the Elder Scrolls 6? Will there be usable transportation in Elder Scrolls 6? You know, the All-Married Dominion, I think, is going to be a huge thing in the Elder Scrolls 6. So you're going to have the High Elves. If you know any of the lore about Hammerfell, I'll just give it to you very quickly. I know this is not a lore podcast, but we can talk about whatever we want to, can't we? Hammerfell is the only district in Tamriel that did not agree to the oh gosh, I can hear it in my mind. I can't get it out of my mouth. The treaty that was signed, the very controversial treaty that prevented worship of Talos and all that other stuff. Anyway, Hammerfell was the only one that did not sign that. So they actually broke away from the Empire to fight the All-Married Dominion on their own, and they won the war. They actually won the battle with the High Elves. So, I believe if Elder Scrolls 6 is around the time of Skyrim, now they could jump 100 years, okay? We don't know. But when I say around, from 20 to 50 years, which I really think they're probably going to do this time. That's just my opinion, though. Then I think, obviously, one of the main baddies is still going to be the High Elves. Maybe we'll get it while the war's still going on with them. That would be fantastic. And you said, will there be usable transportation in the Elder Scrolls 6? Absolutely, yeah. Number one, obviously, there's going to be horses again, but I believe the horses are going to be a lot better. I believe we're going to... how should I word it? Even if you didn't like Starfield, I think we're going to benefit greatly from some of the upgrades that they did in Starfield. I think the engine is going to be much better, so horses won't be so slow. yes, I believe the transportation in the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be much, much, much better. There's only certain games I'd spend $70 on. The Elder Scrolls 6 is one of them. Absolutely. Okay, I promise to catch up with the chat in just a minute. Since we're really talking the Elder Scrolls 6 today, and I do have other news, but let's jump to the Elder Scrolls, and can Elder Scrolls compete with games like Crimson Desert, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, The Elden Ring, Fable, Fate Keeper? Man, there's a lot of them out there. So what do y'all think? Oh man, there's another super chat. DeMarco, thank you so much. An hour and a half stream. Thank you, DeMarco. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Man, I'm way behind in the chat. There's no way I'm going to catch up with everything. If somebody told me why they think that the Elder Scrolls is going to take until 2028, let's see. There's the old nights. Okay, Arena to Oblivion. We're already close to end time frame. It is literally the same Emperor. Okay, you're talking about that. I thought you was going to talk about why you think it's going to take so long. If somebody said that, put it again in the chat and let me. Yeah, the white gold concordant. Thank you, DeMarco, dude. I could hear it in my mind. I knew it had white in it. I don't know how many of y'all are playing Crimson Desert. Don't know how many of y'all have played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Don't know how many of y'all have played Elden Ring. Don't know how many of y'all are planning on playing Fable or Fate Keeper. But these are games are doing today what games were not doing in 2011. You go back to 2011, Skyrim was all of Bethesda's games were up to that point. It revolutionized RPGs. It really did. Even though Bethesda doesn't make true RPGs, it revolutionized them. I truly believe this. I believe we would not have gotten Breath of the Wild. I don't believe we'd have gotten Witcher 3. Those games came on the back of what Skyrim was. Skyrim laid down how to do it, and then they took some things to a different level. But since 2011, obviously, there has been a lot of improvement in games. There has been a lot of innovation in games. So there's some people out there that think literally that games have passed Bethesda by, that Bethesda cannot compete with games such as Crimson Desert, Kingdom Come Deliverance. I feel a little bit differently. I will say this. Back in the day, you look at Morrowind, you look at Oblivion, you look at even Skyrim, those games did a lot of things that nobody had ever done. However, now people have taken some of what Bethesda does and made it better. You look at Kingdom Come Deliverance, the combat is better, the NPC schedules are better. There's a lot about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 that's better than a Bethesda RPG. However, even a game that's that good doesn't do everything that a Bethesda game does. Now, I do say this. I do think that Bethesda really needs to step it up when it comes to the Elder Scrolls 6. I believe they need to do some innovating. I talked about their horses being better than they were in 2011. We better hope their horses are better than they were in 2011. Just think about how far cars have come in that amount of years. We're talking almost 20 years. Come on. So, yeah, they need to have some big-time innovation. But there's three main ways that I see a Bethesda game different than all other games out there. And again, some of these games that I've named do some of the things that Bethesda does and do it better, but they don't do everything. And tell me if y'all agree with this. You look at Crimson Desert. I love Crimson Desert, is great. I play it a lot. It's a really, really good game. However, the Crimson Desert world is more of a backdrop than a place you're living in. What the Elder Scrolls does, Todd Howard said he wanted the Elder Scrolls 6 to be the ultimate fantasy world simulator. And you definitely need to listen to what he's saying. Bethesda's not making an RPG. They're not making an action combat, which, by the way, that's what Crimson Desert is. It's a world simulator. There is no other game that I can think of that you can pick up something off of a table, go throw it outside in front of the shop, and come back 2 days later, and whatever you threw down is still there. It's crazy how you've got interaction with the world. It's also crazy in most Bethesda games, the interaction you have with NPCs. The NPCs are not just set dressing like they were in Starfield. They all have schedules. They all have names. You can talk to them all. That's all very important. Now, again, Fable's about to do that, and about to do that very well, probably better than the Bethesda's going to do. But they're not going to do everything Bethesda does. Does that make sense? There's just something special to me about a Bethesda game. Now, if you don't like it, you don't like it. And I know there's some out there that don't, obviously. So that world simulator is one thing that I think they do different than anybody. Again, people are catching up. The second thing is the total freedom that you get with an Elder Scrolls game. You think in Elder Scrolls, you are a blank slate. The world is a blank slate. You know, when Todd says go anywhere, do anything, it's really true, but it also is about the character yourself. You're not tied into playing a certain character with a certain set of skills. You can play all kinds of different ways. So that's another thing that I think makes Bethesda games really special. And then finally, the third thing, which is, again, Bethesda's bread and butter. It has been for years and years, and they are now doubling down on it. It is, of course, the unlimited modability of a Bethesda game. So those three things, again, other companies are catching up, but there is no game, no company that I think of that can do it all. By the way, speaking of Kingdom Come Deliverance, did y'all hear that Warhorse Studios is making a Middle-earth RPG, a Lord of the Rings RPG? That's going to be fantastic. Man, there's so many good games that are coming. I'm just going to get further and further behind on the games that I should be playing. Dal says, loving Crimson Desert. And he says, Fable, I'm still on the fence. I can't wait for the new Fable. I'm definitely going to give it a full chance. I hope it comes out this autumn. I hope we have a full year to play it before the Elder Scrolls comes out, so I can, be ready to jump to the Elder Scrolls. Dal says, I'm trying to get my New Vegas working now. Does survival get incorporated into the Elder Scrolls 6? Do they make us eat, sleep, and stay warm? Marcus, I'm going to say yes and no. I think they're going to do, again, this is another great thing that's coming from Starfield. Even if you didn't like Starfield, I believe they're going to do that menu from the very start that is now in Starfield, where you can adjust your game however you want. So you can literally turn it to a survival game if you want it to be. It is I don't know how many of y'all don't play Starfield, but you need to, for at least this one reason. Go and try out this new menu, because you're going to see it in the Elder Scrolls. You can literally turn up your enemies onto extreme and turn your weapon damage down to minimum. I mean, you can adjust it however you want it. You can adjust it where you can ignore food, or you can make it full out survival where you have to eat and sleep. And And I don't know about y'all, but I think that is the best way to do it. From the very start, make the game where you can play it exactly how you want to play it. Makes perfect sense to me anyway. Okay, where was I? Good grief. John says, I don't think anyone will truly know what Bethesda is capable of until we get our hands on the Elder Scrolls 6. You know, there is a lot of... and I mentioned this too last week, and I want to get everybody's opinion on this as well. There's a lot of, even from the most diehard Bethesda fans, there's a lot of nervousness when it comes to the Elder Scrolls 6. Because we know, even us diehard fans, know that Bethesda hasn't hit the ball out of the park since Skyrim. Now, I don't have the doom and gloom a lot of people do, because y'all know I like Starfield, I like Fallout 76, but I can agree that full magic touch that Bethesda used to have, we haven't seen it yet. Someone asked me last week that how I thought the Elder Scrolls was going to go over, how it was going to be received. And I want y'all to tell me if y'all agree with this. I believe that the Elder Scrolls is going to be a financial success, a huge financial success. However, I believe the Elder Scrolls 6, as sadly as it is going to get mixed reviews, because there are some, especially now, especially in our influencer age. Please, y'all don't ever call me an influencer, okay? I hate that name. But in our influencer age, that some people live on hate. And even if it's the greatest game of all times, they're going to find a reason to hate it. And there is a huge, hate Bethesda camp right now. I didn't used to see this in my videos, but now every video I make, there will be very smart comments like, Bethesda's trash. You know, I mean, you're going to get that every time you make a Bethesda video now. Which, have they earned some of it? Yeah, they've earned some of it. But I don't think it's near as bad as most people are saying. So, there you go. So, Marcus, I hope that answered your question. John, I hope that answered your question. Okay, TV, I can never say your name right. Hardcore survival mechanics is a skip for me in any game. Way too tedious. See, that's why I love that menu that you can play exactly how you want. Dow says, if Todd wants it to be a world people want to populate, then they need to up their game when it comes with NPCs, companions, player relationship to their environments and each other. Can I please add this, Dow? We've got to go back to not having... this is what so disappointed me, and I understand some people it didn't disappoint because they're used to other games doing this. But again, what makes a Bethesda game different is every NPC has a name, every NPC has a schedule. Where do you think other companies learned that? They learned it from Bethesda. Bethesda has never used NPCs just as set dressing until Starfield. So, yes, they've got to get back to that where you can have dialogue with every NPC. They have that schedule. Yes, they need to triple down on that, Dow, 100%. Marcus says, will there be castle or camp or town creations in the Elder Scrolls 6? Yes, 100% yes. To some extent, yes. We know that... and I'm not going to get the right word here because I can't get it to my mind real quick. But on Todd Howard's notes for Skyrim, there were castle builds where you could be the lord of a castle. That's where Fallout 4 settlement building came from. They wanted to do it in the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, so that's exactly where settlement building came from. So can I see something like that being in it? Yes, absolutely. I mean, we're definitely going to have house building and stuff in it. And they've never gone backwards. They've always taken it to another level until Starfield, another one of my gripes. But is it going to be separate from the castle thing and all that? I don't know. Todd Howard also said back on that Lex Friedman podcast, which is a very good podcast, by the way. If you have not watched Todd Howard talk, Todd Howard almost never talks that in depth for that long. So things are going to slip, okay? But in that podcast, so that was 2022, he already said then they had the big features picked out for the game. So they already knew what was going to be in it. Now, big features, what he's talking about is the extra things on top of the base RPG or the base world simulator, which is the castle building. If you have some kind of, managing people in, and I really do expect that 100%. And also the boat and ship building, if that's something else that they described. Again, I always have to mention this, though, when I talk about the castle building and the ship building and all that. I love those things in Bethesda games, but it's not why I play a Bethesda game. It's something extra. And I would much rather them be added. I know DeMarco Dude has said this, so it was probably his before it was mine. He said, I would much rather see them release that in a DLC than trying to stuff it in the original game. And that's me. Give us a castle building settlement thing for a DLC. That would be great. But give me the base game that's good, that you pour your heart and soul in first. That's what I really want. So, DeMarco there, I think that was yours before it was mine. DeMarco says there are special elements, but they need to evolve for sure. I think the answer is making it more of an RPG, but BGS doesn't seem to be going that direction. No, they do not. They do not. Man, I'm way behind again, but that's all right. Can you send, Musta says, can you send me the link video of the Elder Scrolls Anniversary Edition? Let's see if I can do it without messing up my my podcast here. Elder Scrolls Anniversary. I can right here, yeah. Here it is.
The screen where like...
Sorry for that. Copy and share. Back to the live stream. All right, I'm putting the link for the Elder Scrolls 25th Anniversary. There it is. All right, there it is. There is no way. I'm so glad y'all are talking so much. I can't keep up with y'all today. Let me try to catch up somewhere else. Let's see. Dal says if there has been any generative AI incorporated into the finished product, not necessarily as art or graphic generation, but more of a management and dialogue level, there will be anti-AI hate. Yeah, you're going to see that. Again, we're just in the beginning of the AI stuff. Guitar and Gaming, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Man, I hope this showcase has a bunch of prime news. The last one was kind of a letdown. Yes, 100%. Musta also says 2027 for the Elder Scrolls 6. Question, where is the planet in Starfield that has a cave that has an Elder Scroll that takes you back to Hammerfell in the arena in modern graphics? I don't know, but if y'all find that cave in Starfield, let me know. That would be great. John says we can't underestimate how much better of a creative environment they are in compared to when they worked on Starfield. They have improved the structure of their departments and got dedicated writers. Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. DeMarco says 100% it's better as DLC to make sure they just focus on the game itself. It's why Heartfire worked as well as it did. Amen, 100%. High Warrior says, yes, a lot of people underestimate how much more engine upgrades can add. Creation Engine 3 will be great. Okay, and Guitar and Gaming says, what's up, King? How's it going? So, let's get back to the news. Again, we've been talking about Elder Scrolls 6 most of the day, but that's all right. Jez Gordon, if you're new, coming in late, Jez Gordon said he don't think it's going to be out until 2028 or 2029. And I would love to be on the Jez Gordon podcast if he would let me on there. And I would ask him the very question I've asked y'all today is why in the world do you think that it would take that much longer than Starfield to make when there's not a pandemic going on, there's not a troubled engine upgrade, and it's not a new IP? I would love to know. I would absolutely love to know. By the way, the new Fallout 4 creation expansion, as I told y'all, is coming. Did y'all hear that somebody has made it? Todd Howard's going to be upset, by the way. Somebody has made it where you can play Skyrim now on your Pip-Boy in Fallout 4. There's a mod for that now. But I just laughed when I saw that. I thought, man, a new version of Skyrim was released and Todd Howard was not involved? How is that? How is that even possible? How is that even possible? Oh, me. Yeah, I am very excited and anxious to see how much Bethesda has progressed since even Starfield. But I'm not even counting Starfield. We're going back to Fallout 4 and the Elder Scrolls, because Starfield was just a total different beast. It was made different. It had different philosophy. It was just totally different. And of course, as you know, Todd Howard says they're going back to the old style of Bethesda games. So, yeah, I'm. If you remember in the Kind of Funny podcast, Todd Howard was talking, and he said he was talking about there is still room for innovation, even with Bethesda style. Now, they got into something exactly what I'm talking about here. The host there of the Kind of Funny Gamecast said, was asking Todd, have you learned from like Baldur's Gate 3 and some of these other games that have great choice and consequence? Is it going to make you change basically your philosophy on how you build the game? And Todd Howard said something that I think went over his head, and I think it went over a lot of our heads at the time. But Todd talked about the kind of game that Bethesda makes. And again, I'm going to go back to it, and DeMarco was alluding to this as well. What they make is a world simulator, not necessarily the RPG. Now, it does have RPG elements, but again, there is nobody that does what Bethesda does with their games. So I think it kind of went over the guy's head, but what Todd said, and he was talking about the Elder Scrolls 6, he said that when he was talking about the innovation, I think Elder Scrolls 6 is definitely going to have some good innovation, and it needs to. It definitely needs to. They need the win. Guitar and Gaming says this is a very important showcase for Bethesda. I hate to say this, but Bethesda may be very quiet during this showcase. A couple of weeks ago, I gave y'all my predictions on what I thought we were going to see at the Bethesda showcase, but we can talk about it for just a minute if y'all want to, because it's getting really close now. We're just a couple of weeks away. Most of what is on tap, whether you're talking about Bethesda Game Studios or whether you're talking about Bethesda as a whole, most of what is on tap, and I know this is not what people want to hear, but most of what is on tap for Bethesda is not this year. I mean, you've got a bunch of big things coming. If they don't have Fallout 3 to shadow drop, I don't think there's going to be much, because you think about it, what else is there? You've got the Elder Scrolls 6, but again, I think that's next year, and Todd wants to hold it until as long as they can. So I don't think they're going to reveal Elder Scrolls 6 still next year. Again, I say 50-50 chance, but then you've got things like Marvel Blade, you've got Wolfenstein 3. I mean, almost everything, the new Quake game, almost everything that is under that big Bethesda banner looks like it's going to be a next year thing or a next year thing. So I don't know. They may be very quiet this year. Smeeks, is that how you say your name? I don't think Xbox will allow a late 2028 or 2029 release. I would say it a little bit different. I don't think they would be happy at all if it was like that. Now, I agreed. I don't remember who it was that said up there, it takes as long as it takes, and I understand that. But no, you don't spend $9 billion on a company. And can I just stop for a minute? I want to ask y'all something. And I'm going to go to the bottom of the chat here real quick, because I want y'all to tell me on this. What you were saying made me think of this. I just made a video on what Asha Sharma said about the Elder Scrolls. Juice had also made a video on what Asha Sharma said about the Elder Scrolls, that they are focusing on, she said, Minecraft, the Elder Scrolls, and Sea of Thieves for creator-centric content. Now, I made this statement that she would not have said the Elder Scrolls unless that game was imminent. Now, I've had all kinds of pushback on, she wasn't talking about the Elder Scrolls 6. She was talking about Elder Scrolls Online. I think that's absolutely silly. No, number one, it don't have creator-centric content. There's no mods or anything in Elder Scrolls Online. But I'll again say, Juice had made one too, so he thought the same thing I did, that she was talking about the Elder Scrolls 6. Do y'all think she would have said the Elder Scrolls? Because again, think with me for just a minute. Why would she say Elder Scrolls if the Elder Scrolls is 2028 or 2029? Wouldn't she have said Fallout and Starfield? Again, they're definitely wanting to highlight creations and mods. Of course they are. But she would not have said the Elder Scrolls alone by itself with no other game if that game was not imminent. And when I mean imminent, I mean a year or less away. Guitar and Gaming says, please be right. So yes, Skyrim has creator content, but this is what I'm saying. There are two newer games than Skyrim she could have mentioned with creator-centric content. She could have said Fallout, which is very hot with the TV show. She could have said Starfield, which is the newest game of BGS. But she didn't. She said only one. She said the Elder Scrolls. To me, and you say, King, you're really... I had somebody on my last video go, King, that's a stretch. Well, again, guys, she would have said Fallout and Starfield unless that game is imminent. It's just another reason I think the Elder Scrolls is imminent. I think all the facts point to it being a year or less away. Again, y'all heard my KingFanMan guarantee today, okay? I don't give many of those. So, but y'all please tell me right now in the chat, what do y'all think? What do y'all think she was talking about when she mentioned the Elder Scrolls? John says, I am as into ESO as KingFanMan is into 76. He did not mean ESO, I'm telling you. Thank you. He didn't. Absolutely. 100%. Guitar and Gaming says, so my theory is Project Halo is going to be leaning really hard on the Elder Scrolls 6 and exclusivity, so they have to be tied close together. Smeek says, that's what I'm thinking. There's no way she would mention it at all. She could have said any other franchise. Amen. That's what I mean. She absolutely. And then John said she did not mean ESO. I agree. I wouldn't bet that we see nothing about the Elder Scrolls. One side of me is full of hope that Todd gets his will to shadow drop it this summer, and the other half goes with King's prediction of Q1 2027. I didn't say Q1. I think it's going to be Q4 3, but I understand what you're saying. Bethesda makes gold standard games. I agree. Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered Creations, maybe, except for the remastered does not have mods. Now, I would love if they are planning on that, yes. But do I think she was mentioning? Now, again, guys, she was laying out. This was an internal memo, okay? This was an internal memo about what their focus is going to be on right now. This was the We Are Xbox email. So this is very important to get down. This was an internal memo about what you need to go do right now, okay? And again, she named those 3 games as creator-centric platforms. Well, right now, Oblivion Remastered does not have creations. And I don't foresee creations coming. Oh, I wished it could. That would make the remasters much more popular, okay? Again, I think she's talking about the Elder Scrolls. That's the Elder Scrolls 6. That's the looming game that is definitely going to be the money maker, make it rain for Microsoft. You see what Starfield did financially. It was a huge financial success, no matter what everybody says about it. The Elder Scrolls is going to be a massive, massive money maker, not only with the sales of the game and with sales of Game Pass, and if they do it exclusive, even sales of Xbox, but it's also going to be the sales of creations. I mean, they are, again, I'm going to mention it one more time because, again, I think it's okay, and it's what I need to do for my channel anyway. So y'all please tell me in the chat if y'all would like this, but Bethesda contacted me this week. So see, I've got a lot going on in my mind here, okay? Bethesda contacted me this week about promoting creations if it's something that I wanted to do with my content. So this is something they're thinking about. So if y'all would like that, by the way, then let me know, because I'd been thinking about it anyway, and I'd already done some live streams with Starfield creations. But I have a list of creations that I want to not only want to play for myself, but I would love to review or whatever for the channel. So another thing, if you would like that kind of content, if there are some creations that you want me to play, want me to live stream, want me to review, whatever it is, please let me know. Message me in Discord, message me on X, message me somewhere. By the way, if you're not in our Discord, please get there. It's a great way for us to communicate. But I agree with you, King. It should be the Elder Scrolls 6. I don't see how it's not. Surfer says, you just answered your own question about why Elder Scrolls 6 is taking longer than Starfield. I answered my own question. Why is it taking longer? You're going to have to tell me. Because of the creation things. Creations are cool when they're actually good and not just cash grabs. I agree 100%. The ones I'm talking about, again, the ones I'm talking about are the DLC size creations that Bethesda is either funding, helping with, or even working on themselves. It's like playing a real DLC of the game. I just did a live stream on the Veil in Starfield, and I'm about to do another one on Beyond the Veil. Both of those were really, really good. And by the way, I got them because Bethesda actually promoted them on their social media. So they are really promoting these things nowadays. Just see what Skyrim is doing today with mods, and imagine what the Elder Scrolls 6 will be doing with mods 15 years after its release. And don't forget, we have AI now. Yes, 100%. I just want Bethesda to finally stabilize Fallout 4 and the mods so I can install it on PC. Again, remember, consoles are getting that huge upgrade to Fallout 4. Oh, is everybody listening? This is a special news report. If you are playing Fallout 4, please go save your mod load order after the podcast, okay? Because with the upcoming update, you will lose it, and it will break your game if you do not. So please go save your load order to your mods or your creations in Fallout 4. Please do that. And Dal, I would think that as soon as this is the big update that everybody's been waiting on. This is the big update that Bethesda's been waiting on for Fallout 4. So hopefully it will square things away. Boy, they've had we could talk about the troubles they've had. Again, I mentioned this a little bit last week. I think they are spread so thin working on the Elder Scrolls. They are literally working on 3 series right now. They're working on 3 franchises at the same time. They're not done with Starfield, so there's more DLC work being done on Starfield right now. Obviously, there's multiple Fallout projects we've heard, but I believe that Fallout 5 is under full development. And then, of course, the Elder Scrolls 6. Everybody in the house is working on the Elder Scrolls 6. So when it comes to games like Oblivion Remastered or Fallout 4, sadly, those updates don't get as much TLC as the other ones. And boy, you can tell it, can't you? That Fallout 4 update, 2 of them were just a mess. Let's see. Having someone trustworthy weed out the junk would be helpful. Yeah, that's why a good thing to do is, if you're going to get into paid mods, the paid creations, is just go with the verified creators. That weeds out most of them. And if you have a complaint about a verified creation, I would take it straight to Bethesda, and then Bethesda will get rid of that creator. That's the way to do it. That's one of the good things about the verified creators. And it also makes it where you can still get your achievements. So I'd say we get a teaser or even a leak of some sort within the next couple of months, with heavy marketing through the beginning of next year with Xbox's new console. Again, if Todd gets his way, we're not going to hear anything about it until the start of next year at the earliest. But hopefully some of you guys are right, and Microsoft will overrule Todd, and we'll get that trailer. I think it would be good. I don't know about y'all, but I think it would be good for the community. I think it would be good for Bethesda themselves. I think it would be good for Xbox. I cannot see a downside of Bethesda putting out a trailer for the Elder Scrolls 6 this year at the Xbox Game Fest. I can't see a downside to it, because they're still getting beat up so bad for that 2018 mess. That's the only way anybody's going to talk about anything different, is to put something else out. Let's see. They already got the new creation engine in the Elder Scrolls 6. Yes. Gentugo, what's going on? If you can AI generate all of the area besides mission and town locations, why not put the whole of Tamriel in the Elder Scrolls 6? They could just keep patching in new locations for years if there's that much space. Yes, but we want handcrafted locations. You definitely could do that and have a Starfield experience. What you would have, though, is you would have procedurally generated dungeons and locations, and I don't want that. If they would do something like that, I would rather them release a location at a time as it was handcrafted and they were done with it. I think that's what a lot of people's gripes are, or one of the big gripes about Starfield is. I met Todd Howard last month and brought you up to a few employees there, and they said they watched you too. What? That's very nice. Thank you for bringing me up. I appreciate that. How do you pronounce your name? Sindy Vids? Cindy Vids? I hope I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. I'm terrible at pronouncing things. But all those companies that are there under that umbrella for Microsoft are not sitting in their own offices somewhere. They are all working together, hand in hand. It's all from one company. Load Save Repeat says, I hope they finally show a trailer this year for a title reveal. Gameplay most certainly won't be until 2027, but the way they did us with the early reveal, then silence this long, yes. See, I don't think there could be anything bad. But again, y'all know Todd Howard has this view that he just don't want to say anything until it's almost out. It's like State of Decay 3. Microsoft made it into a hero project, and they put 3 companies on it working together. Yes. Dal says, a trailer, even if it doesn't have a release date attached to it, would generate a huge amount of media hype. Yes, 100%. And then he says, hit that thumbs up. Hit that like button. Make sure King's signal reigns supreme. Thank you. Believe it or not, guys, we are less than 10 minutes from the end of the podcast. I haven't even gotten to a quarter of what I was going to get to. Y'all wanted to talk about the Elder Scrolls all day, and that's all right. I'm glad y'all did. Yeah, the Bethesda showcase, gosh, again, we're not going to hear anything from Starfield yet. I'm really not sure if Marvel Blade, we're going to get anything from that because that's probably going to be released next year. We will hear from John Rush in Fallout 76. We might get a Fallout 3 Shadow drop. Elder Scrolls, I'm 50-50 on. Doom the Dark Ages, we'll probably get a DLC. We might get that Quake reboot. And then there's the Fallout 4 creation, Fever Dreams, that we might hear about. And then the only thing else out there is Wolfenstein 3. And again, that's 2027 or even 2028 release. That is a lot further than now. So for those wanting a really big Bethesda showcase this year, unless they surprise us with that Elder Scrolls trailer, boy, I don't know. I just don't. Or that Fallout 3 remaster. That would be really, really, really good. So much to talk about in so little time. I know. We are 2 minutes away from the end. And I already did the extra 30 to Marco. It would have to be a big super chat. Big super chat. I'm teasing y'all. Please don't. No, I appreciate y'all being here today. This has been a lot of fun. If there's anything I haven't answered or we haven't talked about that you wanted, get it on the chat right now. It is viewer driven. That's right. Thank you, Jeremy. If there's anything that I didn't answer, please put it on there now. If you really want to get it seen, do definitely put it on the super chat because I definitely want to see it before I get off. But we're just a couple of minutes away. I think the Elder Scrolls is going to be fantastic once it gets here. Of course, I'm a King fan. I'm a fanboy, fan man, excuse me. But toward the subject that we were talking about, I think even Bethesda knows they're going to have to innovate. And I don't think that's what made people not like Starfield. Starfield was not what people were wanting from Bethesda. That was it. Fallout 76 was not what people were wanting from Bethesda. I believe as far as the kind of game 76 is and the kind of game that Starfield are, I think both of them are very good for what they are. It's just not what people were wanting. So for those that think Bethesda's lost their magic, I really don't think they have. And I think they're going to prove a lot of people wrong, but then there's going to be haters no matter what. There's going to be haters no matter what. But that's all right, because we'll still be here talking about Bethesda. Thank y'all so much for spending a little bit of your Saturday right here. I've enjoyed this so much. They're psycho. They better get their you-know-what together. Absolutely. They better. Sadly, things like the Fallout 4 updates and those things are hurting Bethesda's reputation. And sadly, that's almost none of the main team of Bethesda. That goes to Bethesda's management. And I'll again say Todd is a terrible manager. He is a great game developer, but a terrible manager. He needs to step aside from managing. That's just my opinion. Step aside from managing and do game development, which he is super talented. These people that are saying, and I always get these comments as well, the best thing that could happen to Bethesda is Todd Howard could retire. We're going to feel it when Todd Howard retires. He is a talent, guys. Again, not his managing skills, but his game development skills are fantastic. So I'm glad we still have Todd Howard myself. The Old Knight says, I'm normally stubborn as an ox, but you've got me sold on 2027 or 2028. Thank you. Thank you. Bethesda should hire me. No, I want to work for myself. I want to work for you guys. That's who I work for. I work for you guys. So thank y'all for being here and letting me do this on my Saturday. I appreciate it so much. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Thank you for all the support. I keep seeing all the crowns and everything that y'all do for me. I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you so much for the super chats that y'all gave today. And thank you just for the word of mouth. Somebody saying they talked to Bethesda about me. So thank y'all so much. I love y'all, and I mean that. I don't throw that word around. I still think I have the best subscribers on YouTube. I really believe it. I hope y'all have a great rest of your weekend. God bless y'all, and I'll see you later. Good Lord willing. Bye, everybody.